Does she know how to go back?
Okay, welcome back, Hill folk, to another Kinfolk PowWow. I got some siblings here with me. It's your host, Ryan. Justin couldn't be with us. Lance is going to be late, per usual. I can talk shit because I'm here. Yeah, I got some siblings with me tonight. We're going to have it. I think this worked out pretty good last time, right? Like we all had a pretty good time. I made my way through it. All right. So, just like last time, we're going to go around the room, kind of see what everybody's been diving into, any new experiences, anything like that. What's going on in your lives? Yeah, talk about whatever you want to. So, first up, we have Rosemary Chives.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. So happy to be here with you guys. This is one of my favorite things to do that we do on this show. I love getting together with everyone and having these chats. So, Rosemary, what have you been looking into or had any experiences or anything like that?
Yes. So let me tell you, I got my computer booted back up. I don't know what happened to it, but one day I did like a hard reset on it and I just hit the power button and then it crashed. And it was pretty much a brand new computer. I got it like right as the around the time of 2020 when that started up. So it's not very old. And my friend, he came over last night and he did some things, I don't know, kind of fixed it. So I downloaded my Steam and I was gonna play like one of the Fallouts. So I went on there to download it and I saw the Mothman. There's a Mothman thing going on with the Fallout. And I thought that was pretty funny. It's talking about Mount Pleasant. Is that the right place?
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant?
Yep, West Virginia.
West Virginia. So I thought that was kind of cool to talk to you guys about and tell you that's happening. And so maybe if I can get that downloaded by tomorrow, I can start playing it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I kind of want to tell you guys about a story. I put it on the Discord, but I just wanted to like speak it out loud and I don't know, see what y'all think about it. So on Saturday night, I was coming home from my birthday. We went camping at the Galveston State Park. I love the beach too. It's so fun. And so we were camping out there, but we got ran off by mosquitoes and I couldn't handle it. It was so crazy. So we were driving home and we are close to the house. It's at this time, it's about 11:30 at night. So it's kind of late. And I'm getting close to the bridge that I live near. And it's on Lake Conroe. And so as I'm getting close to the bridge, I see a man walking towards me. And I was like really scared. So I slammed on the brakes and I went to the swerve to the right. And then as I swerved, my lights, they like moved off of him a little bit, but like I I could just see him and then he was gone. And I don't know, like he didn't jump out of the way. He was just there and then he was gone. And he was like kind of tall. He was wearing black pants, a gray shirt, and I was very scared. And so I don't know. I think I saw a ghost.
Oh my gosh. Well, it sounds like you saw a ghost.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like the bridge right there, that's where people go fishing. So I legit thought that he was a fisherman and he was, just coming up off of the bridge to go to his car and he was walking in my lane. But he wasn't there.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
Yeah, it felt crazy. I feel a little crazy about it, but I
you
know that what I saw was a person.
have you looked into like anybody seeing things like that around there?
No, because you guys always say, like, if you go looking for it, then you're going to find it. I don't want to find nothing. I'm just letting you know I saw something crazy.
You just don't want to know any more than that. That's
Yeah, well, I thought about, I could go to the RV park because there's an RV park right there. I was like, I could stop in there and be like, hey, but then I would just look like a crazy person. Nobody wants that.
yeah. Yeah,
But
nobody
that's
wants
all I
to.
wanted to talk
Oh
about
man.
tonight. Was just telling y'all my crazy ghost story.
Well, that was crazy. If it is a ghost, it may be. Maybe you can give us the details of the bridge. We'll look into it for you. That's all right. Well, thank you, Rosemary.
Welcome.
And we are on to Miss Caroline.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Glad to be here again.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. I don't really have anything prepared for tonight. I am working on something. I have an experience that I could share, but I really want to be able to add to it. So I'm going to save that one for the next time. But I did want to tell you something. I was listening to your last episode and you were talking about the fluoride
Yes.
and how it's bad for you and everything. And I was talking to y'all, but you couldn't hear me, but so I'll share it with you now. I've read that fluoride also calcifies your pineal gland, which is like they say it's your third eye,
Oh yeah.
your higher consciousness. So yeah, that's what I've read about that. But my experience for next time is going to be maybe I had an astral travel experience, but I want to add to my story. So
oh my gosh. Everyone's going to hear this and going to be like, what? And they're going to be all over the Discord.
So, yeah.
Well, we are super excited for that then. Yeah.
I'm just going to hang out and listen to everybody else tonight, if that's all right.
You just feel lucky that Justin and Lance aren't here because they'll be badgering you right now to tell that story. I'm cool, man. I'm going to let you do how you want to do.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Caroline. I'm glad you're doing well, and thank you for being here tonight. All right. We got us an outlaw in the group.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
So this guy, he's gone and started a podcast with a dick we all know too well.
Hell yeah, we started the Counter Cult podcast. So
yes, sir. The Counter Cult podcast. So Hill folk, you know what to do. Go find them. You got to get there. You got to listen to their content. It's great. Dick's already messaged me about some things you guys are thinking about, and I'm like, hell yeah.
yeah, man, honestly, we wouldn't have been able to start this podcast without you guys, Appalachian Intelligence. So shout out to you guys.
I appreciate that, Outlaw, but you could have bought a microphone just the same as me and done it. That's all I did.
Honestly, man, I wasn't even thinking about starting a podcast. Then Dick messaged me. He's like, hey, man, you want to start a podcast with me? And I said, yeah, fuck yeah, why not? Yeah. Pardon my language, but no. Direct quotes, man, that was me.
Yeah, there's no, we don't correct language here. Like Justin and them try with me, but whatever.
No, and that's the thing with Counter Cult, man. We just say what we want to say and let it all out.
Hey, that's the way to be. Just be you. That's all you can be. And that's what we try to do, man. Like what you guys get, this is what these guys get every day out of me. I love to joke. I love to make people laugh. I love to make people smile. It's just one of the things I love to do, man. So and jokes come to me, I don't know why, but they always have like that. It could be any situation, and I'm one of those dudes that's ready to go.
Oh yeah, man, and oh man, gotta love that freedom of speech right there.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, well, if you're afraid to offend, you can't ever speak the truth. So just 100%. Say it in a joking manner where everybody can laugh. So, without ruining your show, what have you been digging into you can share on this show?
Oh man, well, I'll leave it up to you. So I can share my what I call my paranormal dream encounter, or I can talk about some research I'm doing on the return of the little G god Saturn, slash glitches in the Matrix. So which one do you want to hear?
Oh man.
I can probably do both, but it's probably not enough time. But
Dang it. Are you doing do the Saturn thing on an episode?
I am. I can share a little bit of that too.
I'll tell you what, just do the other one.
Okay. So so this is the day Dick and I released our first episode at the Countercool podcast. I had this weird ass dream, dude. I swear to God, it was not a dream. It was one of those things. But Justin was telling me it was pretty similar to one of your nightmares or dreams that you had. Anyway,
you really piqued my interest because that
yeah.
dream still haunts me.
Yeah, man, that kind of terrified me too after that night. But so, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. So, the first episode Dick and I released was on soft disclosure. We were talking about Orwell and Disney and how it all tied into Epstein Island and so on and so forth, and other secret societies and stuff like that. But so that night, man, after we did our thing, I went to bed, and I had this episode of sleep paralysis, which normally doesn't bother me, man. Like I could sleep right through it. And the thing is, I learned to protect my mind during sleep paralysis because that's usually what these entities are after. So, I mean, without getting too religious, I memorize the Psalms while I'm sleeping during a sleep paralysis episode. Well, this one was different. I couldn't really I don't know what word I'm looking for. Like I had almost no control over it. And in this dream, man, I encountered this this faceless entity. And when I mean faceless is like it had no face. It had skin where the face should have been. And it was wearing this gray business suit with a yellow button-up shirt. And
oh my,
yeah, I just got bad vibes when in that dream, dude, from when I encountered that entity. And like I don't remember what it said to me specific. There's more to this, but just to shorten time on this. But I know it threatened me in that dream. And that's when I tried to wake up, and I thought I did wake up, man, but for some reason it felt like this entity trapped me into this dream, and I was just constantly going through this false awakening. And yeah, so every time I woke up, man, I wasn't awake. And this dragged on, I don't know how long, until I was able to finally wake up from it in reality. And while this was going on, I could hear like this running and stomping in my room, and no one was there. Yeah, so I just woke up dead ass tired after that. But it was just this constant loop of the false awakening. So I'll let you guys, yeah, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that is that's nuts.
Yeah, and I talked to JJ Rose about it. I'm sure all of you are familiar with her.
Oh yeah.
But that's her where I mean, I'm going to leave some details out, but she basically said that I need to start having developing spiritual protection or something along those lines. So
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's just tip of the iceberg for that.
Oh man. Yeah, that dream I had, I want to say it was a yellow, like there was yellow in the suit. That's what I remember.
Holy shit, dude, no
I
way.
remember see, I couldn't remember if it was yellow or green forever. But you talking about it just like flashback. It's almost like Jim Carrey, The Mask,
Yeah.
like that color. And then, but the face wasn't like that, but he had a huge smile like that. And he would never look directly at me, just look at me, side eye me while smiling. And then no matter which way I ran, I'd come on either side of him. And he was doing something on a table, but I have no idea what it was. Because I couldn't like stop looking at his face. It was just, and then I woke up screaming.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
I was like, what the fuck? Even my son came in, he's like, what's going on? Dad's screaming.
Honestly, man, I'm pretty convinced. Like, I need to do further study on this, but I'm pretty convinced that dreams aren't just dreams. I think they're something else, in my opinion. I don't know if it's the astral body or whatever, the consciousness, whatever you want to call it, going into another realm or dimension or something. But I mean, yeah, that's just my opinion on it. It's dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just dude, it's so real. Like that dream felt too real. But at the same time, I've had dreams that felt real that were about, family members or bad things happening or things that, and I woke up and it wasn't true, obviously. So just to say it felt real doesn't, make it real. It's just, you can't, when you can remember, when I can remember a dream, that's weird because I hardly ever remember.
And
Hardly.
yeah. And honestly, man, well, not always, but I've had dreams like that, man. And I actually released or submitted an episode to the Hollow Sky podcast. Episode 182 was dreams bleeding into reality. But anyway, it's just that's just another story. But just to shorten it again, when I had that experience, I what's the word I'm looking for? Like it almost seemed like I went, and I don't want to sound too religious, but it seemed like I went into the spirit realm because I was doing fasting during this time, and it almost seems like I went to the spirit realm, or whatever you want to call it, and ran into some black cloaked entities in that dream. And like after that encounter, like I just had a series of bad luck and demonic oppression. But I got over that and all that. So I used to do lay ministry back in the day. So but I through those experiences, I learned how to protect myself spiritually and all that stuff. So, I mean, obviously from the way I talk in my language and dropping F-bombs, I'm not.
I'm guessing you're not preaching the Sunday sermon, but
no, not anymore. But
oh, goodness, so sorry if you guys heard that. I just bumped the table like an idiot. But see, this is things I do all the time that Justin edits out. You guys are getting it firsthand. That's yeah, I don't know if you guys caught us on Eric's show. I don't know if he edited it out.
Oh,
I thought I was muted. Like I wasn't moving the tape. He's like, hey, Ryan, you want to run a jackhammer? Like, what? I thought I was muted. I was making so much noise. But whatever. Dude, that's crazy. We had that similar kind of entity. It was just the face for me was Like, I mean, those yellow eyes, the freaking big wide smile. And he would always side eye me, whatever side I came in on. He was always smiling. It's like, man.
God, man, yeah, I think yours was a lot worse than mine. If
Oh no. But that the waking up, oh no way. That I woke up, I was up, you know. But, oh man. But I'm so glad. Oh wait. Here we go. Admit. We got Jason coming back in. There's Jason. See, I wasn't
Would y'all
paying
mind if I
attention.
told a quick sleep paralysis experience that not that I had personally, but my ex did?
I wouldn't
Are-
mind at all.
Okay. Well, he said that he would scream out my name, but I would never hear him. But he wouldn't actually be talking. In his mind, he was screaming out my name, but he never woke me up. He never could move. I guess you guys know when you're in paralysis, you can't move. So I felt bad that, that I didn't wake up to like help him out of this ordeal. But the reason I wanted to mention it is because he had a black shadow at the foot of the bed, and it was like scaring him, like tormenting him. And that's just a story. That's kind of the reason that I knew that there was something going on with the spirituality stuff, because like that was a very unusual thing for him to talk about or experience, for anybody to experience. And so the more I looked into it, the more I found out that people have those experiences quite often. And I'm thankful that it's not something that I've experienced. But I just wanted to share that because it's something I've personally been through with somebody.
Yeah, that is exactly what my wife experienced when we first got married, and we lived in our first house on base when I was in the Air Force. And she said she was trying to wake me up, but I never felt her try to wake me up. And she said it was at the foot of the bed, and then the next time it was at the side of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said at one point it felt like shit was trying to choke her.
Yes, that's what he said too. I forgot about those details. That's exactly the same.
And then she said she just kept speaking the name of Jesus over and over. And eventually she said it out loud and came up and then woke me up to tell me that somebody or something was in the house. So I go looking, but I didn't understand what she was talking about at the time. Also, I was like, okay, you were asleep. You had a dream, because that was just the way I thought, But,
yeah, she must have been terrified. Is she okay now? Like,
yeah, she never forgets that. But yeah, everything's pretty good now.
good.
I guess. She doesn't tell me about it if it's not.
no, yeah, there's definitely no use to getting to sleep paralysis, man. It's just yeah, you can't get used to it.
No.
I used to have it all the time, but mostly when I would take a nap, because at night I take a trazodone so I don't wake up. But if I would go to take a nap, I would have sleep paralysis, and I never really had. I had a demon once, and I was laying on my bed on my back, and it was daytime because I was taking a nap, and I felt like I woke up and was looking straight up over me, and there was a guy. He had on a Guy Fawkes mask. That was my sleep. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, he was leaning down, and had like this long hair and a black suit, and he was like, "You can try to move all you want, but you're not going to be able to move. Just stay there." And I finally was able to wake up. And I mean, I was so scared, like it was scared me to death. But that's the only time I had a demon. But not too long ago, I don't know what I had, because my dog would not come in my room. And which is very strange because she's always at my hip. She's right here. She would not come in my room. If she would come in my room, if I would bring her in my room, she would like leave and go hide under the bed in the guest room and not come out. And it was really strange. And so I ordered some sage and I didn't really know what was going on, but I felt like maybe there was something in here. And then so one night I had a dream and I felt like I woke up and I looked over to my bedroom door and I saw a figure with a black, I don't know, it wasn't a suit, I don't know, it was just black on the bottom. And then his face was like yellow, but it reminded me of like notebook paper yellow. I don't know. And he had a big smile and he was side-eyeing me. He was always looking like from the side, like he wasn't looking at me straight on, but he was looking at me from the side. And I was like, in my dream or whatever state I was in, I told him, you need to get out. I don't care. Like, I didn't feel scared from that, whatever it was, but it was scaring my dog. So I was not cool with that. So I kept telling it, you need to get out now. You need to get out. You're not welcome here, you know, in the name of Jesus, because I heard that on a podcast. And I woke myself up screaming at it. Like my mouth wouldn't open, but I was like screaming, like, now, you need to get out now. And then it kind of stopped. Like she would come in my room after that. But then every once in a while, she would always be looking in the hallway. Like she would go up and down the hallway looking around. I finally got my sage. I put my Bible near my bed, my tourmaline near my bed. I ran around and said Psalms, you know, around the house. I saged my house and it's been okay so far. But I don't know. I didn't see anything awake, but in my dream, but I felt like it was different than a dream. Because I agree with you, Ryan. When you remember it, I feel like it's something different.
Yeah, that's because I don't really remember dreams.
No, I don't. I'll remember them right when I wake up, but unless it, and I've had visits from my grandparents in my dreams and stuff like that. And I mean, I remember them. That was 18 years ago, and I remember it to a T, every detail of it.
I had the exact same. My granddad. He's not really my granddad. Okay, he was my papa's brother, so my great uncle.
Yeah.
But we all called him granddad, so he was my granddad, and his wife is my Granny Ann. But granddad passed, and I just gotten out of basic training, and I went up to tech school, and then it was Christmas, so I got to go home. He had cancer. So I got home, but it's kind of late in the evening, and I was like, well, I'm going to go see granddad. And they're like, no, wait until in the morning. He's already gone to sleep with all the medicines and everything. And then the next morning, mom and dad are at the foot of my bed saying he passed. So I never got to see him before he went. And then fast forward a few years, and then I'm married, and I had this dream that I was sitting at this table, and across from me was my granddad, and my Granny Ann was there, but, you know, she was just there to see him with me. And then at the other end was just a big ball of light. And I just thought, okay, that's God. And then there's granddad, and I got to talk to him, told him I loved him, asked him about my other grandfather, and he said, oh, he's doing great. And then I woke up, and I was crying when I woke up.
And you remember it?
Remember it to a T.
Every minute, yeah.
I remember every detail from it. I can see it all in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
That's
that too.
the things.
Yeah. Mine was, I was staying at my dad's house, and my grandfather died, and then my grandmother died a couple of years later. But after my grandmother died, I was really close with her. And so I was really like kind of preoccupied with like, you know, is she okay? I didn't really get to say bye to her either because she had cancer. And like I was kind of really always preoccupied with what are they doing? Are they here with me? You know, and I was sleeping at my dad's house one night, and I felt like I was awake, but I wasn't. And I felt like I was sitting, like they had me sit up on my bed, and there was a TV in front of the bed, and I could see behind me my grandfather, but he was young. What I would know from pictures, right? And then I kept trying to turn my head and look like, where's my grandmother? And there was a ball of light in the corner of the bedroom up by the window. And basically their message to me was, you need to stop worrying about what we're doing. We have work to do. You know, we'll always be watching over you, but you have to live your life. and I remember it perfectly. And I moved on after that. I stopped worrying about them.
Yeah. That was yeah, after that dream, I was like, I had some peace because I was like, well, I got to talk to him,
Yeah.
like I got to say, hey, and I love you. And
yeah,
I'm sorry I wasn't there, things like that. Hey, look, it is Justin Kaiser. When did this son of a gun sneak in? I didn't even let him in. How dare you hack my server, sir?
Hey, man, I just got that kind of power. Just got that kind of power. I
How
can jump
dare
in
you?
whenever. Hey there, kinfolk. Love y'all. Sorry I'm late. Sorry I may have to jump off at any time. Just wanted to come on and be a part of it, even if it's just for a minute. But Ryan's doing a heck of a job, I'm sure. He heads this whole thing up anyway. He's the brains of the operation.
Look how big my head is. That's where I put him. Yeah, I hope you've heard these great stories for the last little bit.
Yeah, I heard Caroline's right then. That's it's interesting stuff for sure.
You just
Definitely.
wait. You just wait until you start editing and you get to hear Caroline's first go around. I'm not going to tell you because I told her I'm going to respect her wishes.
Well, good.
And I know you won't.
Well, that's a little rude. It's a little rude.
No, I just know you when you hear this story, you're going to press her to tell it. And she's not ready.
Okay. And I'm okay with that. I'm just
Oh, it's
I'm
a
fine with that.
doozy.
I'm fine with that.
Gosh. You're so mad right now. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I am. I'm extremely upset. But I will have to say, these times that I get to go back and edit and listen through, dude, I have a good time doing that. I'm like, man, this is good.
Like that idiot Ryan can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, but forget about me. Proceed.
Okay. We've been with Rosemary, Caroline, Outlaw. It is Matty O'Daddy O'Clock.
How's it going? How's it going?
How's it going, buddy?
Always pretty good, man. Can't complain too much, Most people don't want to listen to that anyhow.
Yeah, nobody's gonna listen anyways.
Man, so here lately, I've just been kind of revisiting, like herb work and some charms, revisiting like runes and some old texts and things like that. Pretty interesting topic for tonight because a lot of the stuff that got me into that is stuff that's already been discussed with the sleep paralysis and shadows and things of that nature. Just kind of always carried like something for luck and something to kind of bolster my personal protection. And recently I've just gotten a lot deeper into that, trying to make it a little more thorough or a little more, I guess you could say, complex.
Yeah. Dude, that's here's what I love. You guys are so much smarter than me. And you talk about this. And I'm supposed to be hosting this.
Well, dude, that's the thing about it. Like, that's what's so awesome about this community is all these people that come on here and listen to us idiots jump on and talk about this stuff. They're way smarter than we are.
That's what I keep
The emails that we get, the comments that we get, like every time something is talked about, we've got all the heel folk coming out in droves being like, well, actually, if you read it's like, holy crap, man.
Yeah, we're like, we gotta Google most of the words in the email to understand what they're talking about. You keep going.
I do have references, by the way. I've got Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs here, which is an excellent reference text that talks a little bit about like different aspects of how herbal magic is used, has been used, should be used. Ironically enough, has very similar views in some instances that I do, and there are other things that I either don't know enough about or disagree with only minorly. And then I've got a copy of Breverton's Complete Herbal, which is just plants and their uses medicinally, based off of Culpepper's, which is old. That dude was rocking around the 1650s. And he was like one of the more notable herbalists of that time. And he was a big herbalist here in the States. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be prevalent. You know, it talks about plantains and how plantains can be used medicinally and things like that. Stuff that you can just go out in the yard here and grab and chew up and put on a bee sting or a minor cut. And then I've got like, I like to reference my spiritual practices with some sort of scientific evidence if I can, just because I feel like that helps it stand out. I can discuss it to somebody scientifically and say, well, you know, I've got a reason for this belief. So I like to reference both magical sources or spiritual sources and scientific sources if at all possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, cover the bases, bro.
Right? Yeah. You know, because it's interesting. A lot of people use sage for smudging. We use sage for smudging. You know, we salt the doorways and the windows and stuff. I'm a spiritually paranoid individual. But like, I read an abstract out of India where sage, along with like 28 other herbs, can purify the air of bacteria for up to 24 hours. So like not only is it spiritually cleansing, but it's actually cleaning my air up while I do it. So it gives me a little bit of a dual purpose functionality there.
Hey, nice. So that my wife, she always does on any place we've ever stayed, even if we go to like hotel rooms and things like that. She's always got the anointing oil from whatever pastor it was that prayed over these, she knew. And she'll take that, she'll do the doorways, the windows, and the sign of the cross, and says her prayer, you know. So
better safe than sorry, man. I keep a little satchel around my neck. We've got them around the bed. I've got them randomly throughout the house. Like I carry stones on me now because I've started to get into some of that, and just like reinforcing the herb work with stones or even like minerals. I like to use iron. Iron seems to be across the board very protective. Salt as well. Tobacco is a pretty good thing for boosting. And certain deities perform more with tobacco if you're into that sort of thing. Like personally, I'm a polytheist, so I'll pretty much ask anything for help, animate, inanimate. I don't really care. So I don't have any qualms with that sort of thing. But it's been an interesting delve because, you know, like grew up with horseshoes over the doors and rabbit's feet and stuff like that. And it's just interesting to see like some of the more
horseshoe was up, right?
Always, yeah. And we had them over like the bedrooms, every entrance. I'm pretty sure the bathroom even had one because why not? But yeah, you know, so like taking that and kind of finding some of the traditions as to where that came from and kind of rooting myself in more with the traditions of Appalachia here where I grew up in Tennessee. And it also developed into like helping me keep like boogers and haints and shadow people and bad dreams away. Like that's even better, you know?
Yeah. Them faceless haints can be a problem, man.
Yeah, they sure can, dude. You know, like
I don't know if y'all listen to Old Gods of Appalachia, but or Appalachia.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Gosh, this is so good. Look at her. He's wearing a shirt. He for sure listens. Man, that's awesome, man. See, this is what I say. You guys are so much smarter than us. I'm supposed to be hosting this show. I feel like a moron. This is like,
No, man, you're doing an excellent job.
So it didn't help that for the longest time, and I still I gotta be really convinced, I always believe when people tell me what they experienced because I wasn't there and you have no reason to lie to me. Whether we believe the same or not, doesn't matter. You saw something, so I've always taken it as, yes, they've seen something. It's just hard for me, like ghosts are so man. Like
They've never really. I don't think I've ever had any dealings with ghosts. Like
well,
I've had some weird dreams with mimics, but not anything ghosty like that. And like shadows were always shadows.
Yeah, like I know Rosemary saw something when she was going towards that bridge. It was a bridge, right, Rosemary?
Yeah, I was coming up on a bridge, and to the right, there's like a path where you can go fishing, and to the left is an RV resort. And I kind of have like trauma because my ex, he had hit somebody before, like years and years and years ago, and I was a passenger. And so when I see somebody walking on the road, I get terrified. And so I saw this person and I had that same fear. I'm going to hit this person. And I slammed on the brakes. And then when I even swerved, and I even know better than to swerve, but I did it anyways, just because I didn't want to hit him. And as soon as I swerved, my lights, they showed him that he was there, but then he was gone. I can't explain it other than that. That's how it was. It was crazy. I was shaking for sure. And my husband, he was asleep. He had passed out on me, so I couldn't even like tell nobody. I was just like sitting in the emotions.
Goodness. And see, I know Rosemary's seen what she's seen. And it affected her, not emotionally, everything that affected her. And you can tell when she tells you that, she relives that. And that's how you can tell, she's seen that. But I just want to see a ghost, dude. Like, I just want to go up, right? Okay, that's a ghost. That's what I want. But we don't live in a perfect world. So Justin says I've probably seen thousands and I just counted it out as, whatever. But that's just Justin saying shit. But Maddie, thank you, buddy. And always glad to have you on.
Glad to be here.
Next, we got Maynard. I know Maynard's looking into something. Maynard, let's see. Can you unmute? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think there we go.
There we go.
Got it? All right.
Maynard. Okay, yeah, there you are. Maynard?
Yeah, I've been looking at a few things, but I actually wanted to check with Rosemary. I've been reading about her ghost report that she told about here, and I was just wondering if she how the ghost was dressed. If she was able to see, was it like current times kind of clothing, or was it past time, or?
Yeah, it was like a gray shirt and like black slacks, kind of, which it was dark. It was 11:30 at night, but these guys that are fishing, they're just wearing, usually jeans or slacks or shorts or something, just regular clothes. It wasn't like old timey clothes.
Okay, I was just wondering because you said it was Galveston, right?
No, I was coming home from Galveston, and so I had saw this, whatever it was, when I got to Lake Conroe. So I was on the bridge at Lake Conroe, and I don't know. I've never seen a ghost before. So this was like, I didn't even think that it was one. It's just that he wasn't there. Like, I didn't hit him. Obviously I didn't do that, but it's just it was just crazy.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like it definitely was. I was just wondering because I know Galveston has had like a horrible tragic history with like hurricanes and I mean thousands of people dying.
Sure,
And
yeah.
really horrible. So I just didn't know if that was maybe something from there, but you weren't on Galveston, so okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah. Well, I stayed at the Hotel Galvez one time,
Okay.
and I have a story about that, but I'll probably save that for another day. I didn't see anything, but I'm pretty sure. Okay. Do y'all want to hear it? It's terrible.
Go ahead.
I'm so embarrassed. I was never going to tell anybody this. Okay. I was in the bathroom, like washing my hair. And so, as a, I'm sure Caroline, you can vouch for this, and Bo Peep, like sometimes you just want to wash your hair. So you're bent over and you're like washing your hair, right? And so I felt somebody like grab me like from behind. And I thought, oh, that's my fiance. And so I turned around to be like, he, and he wasn't there. And I was like, well, where is he? And so I go looking for him. He's passed out asleep. Oh, so both times I've like experienced a ghost, he's asleep. I'm just now putting that together.
Oh man. I wonder if it's him actually
I was
astral
like so freaked
projecting.
out.
So my wife had the exact same experience as that too, Rosemary, when we lived
Stop
in
it.
Ohio. I was
What?
kid you not, I was sitting on the bed. My daughter was sitting beside me. I was on the foot of the bed. I just put my boots on. And I was watching television. And the bathroom door was cracked open. She was in there taking a shower. And she goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You just pulled my hair." I was like, no, I didn't. And it was crazy because she's like, somebody just pulled my hair. I was like, well, I guess we got a ghost. I said it jokingly. But my daughter and I were sitting there watching TV. I think it was SpongeBob, in fact. But yeah, she had the exact same experience.
Wow. But yeah, if y'all ever see or hear of the Hotel Galvez, it they say that one is haunted, but I didn't experience anything except for getting groped or grabbed or whatever. But I'm sorry, Maynard, I didn't mean to take up your time.
Oh no, it's fine. I like hearing about it because yeah, the Hotel Valdez I've heard of. It's notoriously haunted. Back during Prohibition in that era, there were a couple brothers that ran the Hotel Valdez, and it was gambling and everything you think of when you think of Prohibition. People because it was an island and they could control who got out there. But it was like a really brutal place, and they say it's like very haunted.
Oh man. Oh, you could have been, that might have been a pimp trying to pull your hair and be like, "Get back out there."
I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I just shared that ridiculous story.
Oh man.
That's a good story.
All right. Maynard, keep it going, buddy. I know you've been looking into stuff.
Sorry.
You blew my mind with the ambiotic.
The abiotic oil theory?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a theory that's out there. If you look it up, it's we've always been told that oil is produced by dead dinosaurs, over millions of years. But there's a theory that the Earth actually produces its own oil without any of that. It does over time, and it's there's a lot of things. I can't think of any of the components of it right now. I just mentioned it the other day in the Discord, but yeah, the Earth produces its own oil. So basically, they're trying to drive up oil prices by telling us that it's a limited resource when it's really not, and that they've known that for a while. So it's a theory out there, and it's been out there for a while, and I'm inclined to believe it at least to a point. I think maybe it's kind of a both. Maybe oil is produced by dead dinosaurs over millions of years, but then also through the abiotic oil. And that's one of the ways they use to control us and keep the oil prices high. Is just tell us it's a very limited price.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of
So what's going to happen? What's going to happen when we all go electric, right? And we're not using all that oil, and then that shit's going to build up. There's going to be more sinkholes. There's going to be it's going to change everything. Like,
I mean, it used to be back in the day that oil would just bubble out of the ground in Iraq and places.
yeah,
It would just come up out of the ground. So, I mean, I don't know how long it would take to go back to that, but I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
yeah. Like,
They used to use it for warfare. They would just let it boil up, fill up pits in the ground and light it on fire. And that, you know, when you're in a battle, you could direct the battle.
you know, it's I don't know what's going to have to happen, man. Like, you feel kind of helpless, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
that's how I feel. Like, most of the time when I sit down and I think about it, like, you know, I love this country. You know what? And they need to stop doing the shit they're doing just to line their pockets. That's not what they're there for. They shouldn't have unlimited terms and all these other things.
Hey, go check out who owns all the patents to all the things for green energy. It's a lot of people from China. It's a lot of politicians. There's a former senator from Tennessee that's known for a lot of environmental writings, and they own all the they own a lot of the patents for green energy.
Yeah.
So they stand to profit off of it very well. And a lot of that goes back to we're talking in the Discord about the Rockefellers, and a lot of early vehicles actually ran on alcohol. It's not good. You don't get great mileage per gallon, but you get great mileage per dollar because alcohol is so much cheaper to produce than oil. And it was actually Rockefeller went to a friend of his, Henry Ford, and said, "Hey, I have this substance I can't sell. It's a petroleum distillate. What do you say? It's flammable. What do you say you make your cars run on that?" And that's basically gasoline turned out to be. And so early cars, you used to see them where they had the big choke on them. And that was to provide your air intake because alcohol and gas would take different amounts of air to burn. So actually early cars back in the day, before Model T times even, they were already flex fuel vehicles. And oil, we talk about the fossil fuels, but why not just go with alcohol? Because, I mean, you could take just corn feed, like after you pick the corn, any type of vegetable matter, and make alcohol out of it and use it for gasoline or to power vehicles.
No shit.
And that was all Rockefeller and Henry Ford deal. And then I only bring it up because we're talking in the Discord about the fluoride in the water, and that was Rockefeller also. He had a lot of fertilizer plants, and it wound up having a byproduct, which was sodium hydrofluoride. And he didn't know what to do with it, so they started using it as an insecticide. And then they started noticing the cows that were in the fields where they were using the insecticide started having all kind of birth defects. So they had to stop using it with that. So what do? They start putting it in our water in smaller amounts.
Yeah.
And it's very small amounts compared to what they're using for the insecticide. But we have no idea what that does when it builds up in our body, or how much can build up before it becomes a problem. People don't realize sodium hydrosulfide. If you notice, you ever read back of toothpaste that has fluoride in it, it says do not ingest more than a certain amount. If an average sized person, you or I, would actually eat two tubes of toothpaste, it would kill us from the fluoride in it.
Yes. Yeah, it's poison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like people just don't realize that. And the first people, I think I heard you say, one of the first people to use that was Hitler.
Yeah, Hitler to dumb down the people.
To dumb down the people, particularly the Jewish ghettos. He put that water because it would dumb down the people, and also make them somewhat lazy, so they're less likely to have an uprising. And then Stalin also used it. Stalin picked up on it, and he used it in Russia or in the Soviet Union for similar purposes.
Yeah, what a moron. He didn't know that Hitler's going to be like, yeah, I'll divide my forces. I'll invade Poland and your ass. You don't know me. And he did, and he won. like a fucking psychopath. But Maynard.
But yeah, that's all Rockefellers right there. And if you've ever read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, it's kind of like a dystopian novel, kind of like in the realm of like 1984 or Ayn Rand's Anthem, or I can't think of the other one right now. Brave New World is kind of like that, but it looked a little farther down the road. And Aldous Huxley is actually like a cousin of the Rockefellers. And at first he said, "Oh no, this is just a book or whatever." And later on, he came out and said, "No, this is basically their plan." And that was back in the 40s, I think, maybe 50s. So that's all you're talking about. The money controls everything. That's exactly what we're looking at here.
Guys, why do we talk about this stuff? It's depressing when you think about it on the grand scale. Like, oh my God, there's nothing we can do. What can we do?
It'll be very hard to do anything, I think. I think we all wrote up, but people just don't know. People don't know about it because they're not being told about it.
What do they care when they're being taken care of? It doesn't matter. I mean, when the government's finding every way they can to please every single person at the same time, and they're just spending money and spending money and spending money, and oh, we got to have the debt ceiling meetings, and it's all a fucking circus.
And
it's
just wears you down.
Circus. And we're fitting the bill.
Yeah. I admit there are times where I just turn it off. I'm like, I just can't listen anymore of it, and they win because I know about it. I still have to stop every once in a while and just to keep saying.
I'm going to tell you something. I really hope the government don't listen to this show because I rant way too much about them. I've worked for them.
Yeah. My ex always jokes with me because I'll go off on my rant about fluoride. And if you've ever seen the movie Dr. Strangelove,
oh yeah,
the crazy colonel that starts talking about the fluoridation of water. My ex is like, "You have become the crazy colonel from Dr. Strangelove." I'm like, "It's true. What do you want me to do?"
Yeah. Turns out they weren't lying to us, huh?
No. Yeah. They told you people always say about Hollywood. It's right there. Yeah. They tell us about it right in the open. They just do it in fiction, and we don't think anything about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even the biggest conspiracy theorist, but when it's right there in front of you, what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, you can hardly call them conspiracy theories when time and time again, over time, they're like, "Oh yeah, that was right," and then nothing else is said about it.
Yeah.
And then the same people call the next one, and then they get called crazy again, and then time over time again, they're like, "Oh yeah, that was happening, but wasn't the problem." Like,
and by the time other people wake up to it, you're like, "Okay, you guys take the ball and run now," because I've been saying it for 20 years. It's your guys' turn.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know what we're gonna do, guys.
It's depressing.
I'm hoping, they always think Hollywood is like leading us into different things, alien invasions, things like that. Men in Black. Oh, here come the Men in Black. Oh, it's just funny Will Smith and his grumpy old co-host Tommy Lee Jones. But maybe they're just leading us into things. So what's that Kiefer Sutherland show?
24.
No, the one where he's I don't want to say this. The government structure comes apart.
Oh.
And he's it's like the last resort or freaking the something candidate, or it's not the Manchurian, it's the
Manchurian candidate mind control. I know what you're talking about. I haven't watched it though, but
anyway,
he's like the 24th in line for it, and he winds up being president.
Yeah,
designated survivor.
Designated survivor.
Designated survivor. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Kiefer Sutherland. How about that dude? Have any of you watched Lost Boys back in the day?
Yeah.
The vampire movie. One of my favorite vampire movies ever.
Oh, I love
that was Kiefer Sutherland.
way back in the day.
And now look at you from Sutherland.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm getting old? I think it does.
It means we're all getting old.
Listen, guys, this is on a side note. I'm going to take up some time. So this little girl that I went to the church, you know, when I was in high school, Mom, we went to church. So there was this little girl at the church who, as a teeny tiny baby, I used to play with, and she would laugh and all this. And then in her toddler years, she said I was her boyfriend because she couldn't say boyfriend. And then, you know, I'm on Facebook today and she's married and had a baby. And I'm like, oh no. I'm so old. Like, this
Oh,
was
no.
it was a shocker. But
I was listening to a baseball game. Yes, was it yesterday? I don't remember what player it was, but there was a player in the major leagues that was actually born in the year 2000. I'm like, oh man, now I really feel old.
yeah. Holy crap. Thanks for that, Maynard.
Yeah, right.
All
Might
right.
play for the Orioles or someone. I don't remember.
Okay. Thank you again, Maynard.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks
for
for
letting me
being here
ramble.
tonight, buddy.
Thanks for letting me be the crazy guy rambling about the fluoride in the water.
Shit, dude, you could call it crazy, but it's happening. It's happening all the time. And then
One more quick
now,
thing to add on to that is there's actually only unless something's been done recently, like in the last 5 or 6 years, there's actually only one study that shows fluoride helps prevent cavities, and it's if you use it topically, like toothpaste, if you rub it on directly on. But there's no studies that show that put it in the water actually helps prevent cavities. That's a total myth.
holy crap.
Think about it. That'd be like saying drink sunscreen in order to prevent a sunburn. You know, how is drinking fluoride gonna help your teeth?
Yeah, exactly. It's doing is calcifying your pineal gland,
Yep.
so you can't release. But you know what? We can combat that with.
And I saw
I've
Caroline
done them
saying,
on this show a couple of times, guys. I think we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I saw Caroline saying there are some things you can do to detoxify your pineal gland from the fluoride. So maybe we'll get into that in the Discord later. Like I don't know what it is, but she was typing it in there. So that'd be good to know.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what that is.
I would too. I want my pineal gland intact, please.
Yeah,
Because
decalcified.
you know, right before death, that's going to release all that LSD.
And the DMT.
Yeah, I'm counting on that. I don't want
I
to
hope
know.
so.
I want to be high as a motherfucker so I can leave this world. All right. Well, Maynard, thanks again, buddy. As we move along here, we have Michelle, aka Bo Peep. It's your turn. Blow our minds. Blow our minds. Listen, Lance is still late. He messaged me a minute ago saying his girls are crazy. Be there in a minute. I don't believe him.
Yeah. So my little guy might wake up. We'll see. So we were talking about, Maynard, we were talking about Rockefeller and education too a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I just pulled up, trying to find some of the data that I collect and don't remember where it came from, but from their actual website or their archives, Rockefeller's archives. So I knew that the General Education Board that he founded, or whatever the proper term for that is, he started that in 1902. What I didn't realize was that 4 years later, in 1906, his General Education Board field agents collaborated with the USDA to create over 100,000 demonstration farms. This is, again, from their archives, promoting scientific agriculture across the South. That's fascinating.
God.
How that ties into back to the USDA and what they approve, but it just talks about dedicating. They convinced farmers to dedicate a certain portion of their fields to show them how to use new types of seeds and fertilizers, adopt modern techniques, et cetera, et cetera.
Listen, this is why you guys are so much smarter than us. And I try not to talk to smarter people because did you guys ever watch the History Channel, Men Who Built America? The Rockefeller, dude, John Rockefeller was my homie. I was like, yes, look at this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just doing his thing. Like he came from nothing up to this. And now, come to find out, the son of a bitch was evil.
I mean, it certainly seems that way.
He ruined everything. He's almost as bad as the guy from the FDA. All right, you guys know what happened to weed, right? So the guy who was over the FDA, the government was like, why do we need the FDA? Like, seriously. There's no drug problems here. We know where the food comes from. We grow it. This was way back when. Oh, the head of the FDA is like, listen, you need us, the Food and Drug Administration, because you made a bunch of racist freaking headlines that weed was making Mexicans from the South, not Mexican Americans, Mexicans, making them crazy and going on killing sprees. Now, anybody who's ever dabbled with the devil's lettuce or the whatever you want to call it knows you don't do that and go on a killing spree. You do that and you eat a bowl of Cheerios. By the way, you guys heard me talking about it. They're killing you.
Mhm.
You like Cheerios, they're killing you. It's basically insecticide, but which is heartbreaking. It's my favorite cereal. If I find out that Cocoa Krispies cause cancer, I'm done. I'm just not gonna get out of bed anymore because if I can't have a bowl of Cocoa Krispies after supper, that's my go-to thing. That's my snack. Then why live life?
I think you may not want to look at it then.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look into it. I don't want to know. So please, Hill folk, don't tell me.
I haven't really done any digging, but I did share the video for the weather manipulation. I think it's a NextRad weather radar tower out of Arizona, actually. I posted that in Discord. It's probably the most intriguing video that I've seen so far. It's just funny that you were bringing all that up in the episode. It's everything I've been digging into.
Well, that's everything, and still, guys, honestly, still, I had a conversation again about it today with another friend. I'm like, don't you think it's weird? There was an explosion in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, so loud that I thought it happened in Goose Creek, South Carolina, where I was at, and that is a good distance away. Okay, that's a tens of 20, 30 miles, some or so. Okay, that's where it originated from, and I thought it happened where I was at. That's how loud it was. I can't imagine what it sounded like in Mount Pleasant. It must have been like a sonic boom right in your face, but nobody's talking about it. It's not on the news. Nobody.
Nothing on social media?
Nothing. Nothing.
That's crazy.
I know it happened. I heard it. Other people came out of other buildings like, did you guys do that? We're like, no. Did we blow up the base? No. Did we blow up the whole side of the earth? No. That's what it sounded like. How could we have done it, you idiot? But that's what I felt like saying. Like that was the dumbest thing anybody could have asked. Did you guys do that? Oh yeah. Yeah, we had some bottle rockets. Is that what it sounded like?
Yeah.
Ugh. But anyways. Yeah.
So being unprepared, that's all I got.
Yeah, it's well, It's nuts, is it not? Nobody's talking about it. The news did talk about it that day. That evening, as we can watch the evening news, and they said they've taken in over 300 reports of the explosion. Have no idea what they said. It's originated in Mount Pleasant, is what they pinpointed it to, but they don't know what it is and have no further information, and they've never said another word about it.
Somebody did capture it on their Ring doorbell.
Yeah. On the Ring doorbell. I heard it. I wish I'd had my phone out or something.
They call it a boom, a big boom.
Yeah. It was.
They all call it an explosion. Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge.
I wonder if it has something to do with deep underground military bases or something like that, or fracking or something underground.
That's what I'm wondering, dude. And I'm like, are there going to be sinkholes popping up? Hopefully not on my favorite golf courses. That would be terrible.
Time will tell.
So it says, while Joint Base Charleston has not yet responded to a request for comment, the base sent out an alert warning of explosive operations at Wharf Alpha on the Cooper River and Goose Creek.
Who said that?
The base did.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
And then-
then I can verify that I was even allowed to go down to our parts storage building. It's I can't give the building number, never mind. It's down towards Wharf Alpha, and it was in the blast zone, and they had it cut off. We couldn't even drive down there. That's why I said I work in Goose Creek, and I thought the explosion happened near us. That's how loud it was.
Mhm.
It wasn't that, thank God, because I have personal things over at that area, and I don't want them to get damaged.
But then it says the U.S. Geological Survey says some small, shallow earthquakes too small to be recorded can be experienced as booms to people close enough to feel the quake. So they're just saying that it could have been anything.
Yeah, they can't prove that. And what earthquakes that don't show up? How do they know there are earthquakes if they don't show up on what they're gauging earthquakes by?
Sounds like a convenient explanation.
It does. Like, it's just like when I went and got tested for COVID that one time, and the girl told me I tested negative, but Omicron shows up negative. I'm like, what? That makes no fucking sense. You can't tell me that I have Omicron, COVID-19 Omicron variant, if it shows up negative because you say it shows up negative on a test. That makes zero fucking sense. Listen to what you're saying. That's what I wanted to say, but I was like, all I said was, that makes no sense to me. And she looked at me like I was crazy. Like, do you not understand what you just said? Like, lady, you basically said 2 + 2 is 5. And expected me to just buy it.
It sounds a lot like nothing to see here.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell you what it is, and you're just supposed to believe it.
You have Omicron COVID. I'm like, no, I don't. I only
But you
came here to get,
you.
like, I don't even have symptoms. I came here because I was exposed and my boss made me. I wouldn't even be here unless he told me to. And you're telling me I came up negative on a COVID test, but you're telling me I have COVID because Omicron variant doesn't show up on the COVID test. So, okay, no, I don't have Omicron.
My favorite was the one of the symptoms is that you show no symptoms. That was my favorite back.
Yeah, every symptom in the world, like, oh my God, you stubbed your toe? First symptom right there. You're done. You got the vid.
So with the explosions, is this the first time that Y'all have heard these explode, like this loud boom, or has it happened in the past? Or
No.
is this a place where people are actively testing loud ammunition or explosives or anything like that?
So I can tell you that if there was an EOD group that exploded ordinances in an area, they have to give an announcement and an email and a time and a date. So none of those things were in place. So it couldn't be those guys because there has to be a lot of other people in other places for them to do that.
I was just thinking, what if there was some kind of experimental device that they wanted to test?
No.
Would they have done it in that area, or why wouldn't they take it somewhere more desolate? Like, it seems like there's a lot of people that would have heard that or
Yeah,
even
'cause-
reported more about it.
Wow, man, I can't tell you this. I can't tell you this. But anyway, we we heard the explosion like it was really close by. And just like Bo Peep was reading that article, it said Wharf Alpha, which is where I can't talk about that. But I can't get myself in trouble, guys. I'm sorry. But it's dude, I'm telling you, because that one airman that sold secrets about Ukraine, what a douchebag. Just doing it because he could and got caught, and now they are strict. Like, I'm trying to be my P's and Q's of what I can and can't say. Like, I can say what you said about the article, but I can't tell you what any of that has to do with anything. But it all makes sense, just so y'all know. I can concur.
So what oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's it. I'm just like, don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, no, I
You
can't
say what you can say,
anything.
but don't say nothing else.
Yeah, I can only say what's general knowledge.
I almost want to say that what if it was a test run for something else? Like something the next one's probably going to be louder and more bang to it.
It could be. That's listen, I got this written down when we heard it and all that. I even walked in the building, which is a hurricane shelter, built for hurricane sheltering, and asked them, "Did you hear that?" And they said, "Yeah." What was that? I was like, I have no idea.
It could just be a test on the real world conditions.
It could be.
If we set this off, like, well, let's see what people say. Let's see how far away they report it. Let's see what they report. Just a thought.
Yeah. Bo Peep, any more word on the blue nose dude?
Thankfully, no.
Sweet.
He's been sick off and on the past couple weeks, so he's been sleeping fitfully anyway. But yeah, no. My daughter did tell me she doesn't like to talk about any of these things. And little side story, when she watched the last episode, the last powwow that we did, she was like, "Oh yeah, so one time when I was might pull her out here and let her tell you, but when she was maybe 7 or 8 years old, she slept in a room with her sister, and she had the bottom bunk, and she was sleeping fitfully one night, woke up and looked towards the door thinking that somebody was standing there at the door. She could feel somebody looking at her, so she turned over and was about to get up. She could see a shadow of a person, right? And the longer she looked at it, the more it was like, well, that's not mommy. That's not Andrew. but it's tall like an adult, wearing a hat with a snake wrapped around its arm.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, that doesn't. She told me the whole story, and then I said, "Have you ever heard of Hat Man?" She said, "No. What's that?" My mind was blown. Like, and then not the same house, but the next house that we lived in. There was one night where she heard the sound of every single plate, glass, bowl, everything in the cabinets being thrown against the wall. It sounded like, or the floor, everything. And she thought that somebody was out there, had broken into the house, or that it was one of us, maybe knocking the china cabinet over or something. So she waited a while. It got quiet. She heard nothing. So she walked out there. All the cabinets were closed. Nothing was on the floor. But it was very loud.
I hope it's in the recording, Bo Peep. But as you were just talking, I don't know if anybody else heard that. It was like in a really deep voice, repeated, like as she ended a sentence, you heard the same word. You guys didn't hear that?
No,
Oh my God.
have to go check it afterwards. Yeah, check it when you're edit.
Yeah, we're gonna check that in edit.
I don't like that.
It just did it again. She laughed, and it laughed just like her.
Okay, I'm good.
Oh my gosh! But
I actually heard it too that time.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
I heard
Yes.
something.
I'm not hearing it.
Just keep talking, Michelle.
So my husband's traveling this week. I'd like to think that we're all safe here.
Oh, I'm sure you're safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go wake the dog up. Are you still hearing it?
No, I'm not hearing it now.
Let us know if you hear it when you listen back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
Because
if you're not listening,
right there. As you were saying listening, it said listening at the same time as you. I hope this is in the recording. My gosh. Michelle, I'm sure you guys are fine.
yeah, we're good.
Get out of there, devil.
This is when I need the sage. I came on as Maddie was talking about that.
Oh, sweet. Maddie, like, you gotta get with her about some protection things that you were talking
Yeah.
about.
Maddie, were you talking about there's like one closet that you can't sage because of the way that it's framed?
So yeah, we still sage it, but I salt all of our thresholds,
Yeah.
all of the doors into everything, every window into everywhere. And I have a weird thing about closets already, but ours has a barn door, so there's no way to actually like thoroughly salt it,
Mm-hmm.
like without just like salting the hell out of the carpet, and that's just a mess I don't feel like dealing with in the morning, you know?
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason, like the satchels, sachets, sashes, whatever, whoever's calling them, because you can just hang those anywhere in the house, or you can keep them on your person, and those seem to be very effective.
Yeah. I think JJ even mentioned putting salt on a plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and doing it that way. I was wondering the same thing. How am I going to do on the floor? But my closet where the blue-nosed man lives, it's just a finished opening. There's not even a barn door. There's no door.
Oh, that bastard has
Figure it out.
nothing
Just
between him
a
and
little
the
baggie
little
of salt there, you know.
one.
Anything's better than nothing. And mistletoe is pretty good for that sort of thing. If you can get a hold of mistletoe, sage is always is good for generally protection or insight, wisdom sort of thing. At least from my understanding, my perspective, there are many. Mine is not the end all be all. But I will definitely put both of those books in the Discord as well. That way you guys can pick them up as references if necessary, if that's something you're interested in.
That'd be great.
So I was just listening to one of the Uncomfortable podcasts, and he was talking about the salt, and I'm not really familiar with salt, but this is what he said to do, was to put it on all the windows except for like the door that you're pushing everything out of. And then once you got everything out the door, then you salt the door. And then also what Ryan was just saying with the anointing oil, if you can pray over some olive oil and put that, that's what my grandmother would do. She would put oil all over everything. So I'm down with the oils, but I'm not familiar with the salt, but that's what Eric was saying would work.
When I used to work in when I was a lay minister, as far as like spiritual warfare, one of the most powerful things you can do is communion, and even burying the sacrament in like in your property or somewhere in your house, and that actually is a pretty powerful thing. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
I think it has to be something like personal to you, and you have to believe in the thing that you're doing or who you're talking with, as far as like God and things like that. You have to have a true belief in that. I think that's the main thing too.
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, I think we've been at this almost 2 hours now. Well, not quite 2 hours, but close. I'm going to stop the recording, but please don't go anywhere, guys. I enjoy talking to you. I want to keep talking to you. Give me just 1 second here. You know where to find us. This has been another powwow. We're on Discord, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube when I get my ass around to posting videos. I know I'm a little slow, guys. I'm sorry. But anyway, you guys know where to find us. You guys know we love yous. Until next time, we'll see y'all later.